On July 11, 1995, 7-year-old girl Selma Music went missing during the Srebrenica genocide. She was thought dead until 2019, when her mother saw her in a picture online, where a group of people are seen in safe territory, after escaping from the genocide. However, Selma was never seen again. The other women from the photo, that was taken on July 13, 1995, had been found through contacts, and they even confirmed that the little girl's name was in fact Selma. However, none of these women know where she ended going. One hypothesis that is circulating online is that at the time of the genocide, when kids were found without their parents, they were sent to Red Cross nursing homes. However, due to corruption during the war, many of these kids were sold for adoption to Western European countries. Today all of Selma's close family live in the USA but keep on searching for her. If anyone has some extra time and would like to help, there is a way. By searching online videos and photos from the war from after July 11, 1995 and trying to find Selma, let me explain why. Selma was separated from her family on July 11 in Srebrenica. The picture shown here was taken either the next day or on the 13th, in Kladan, Bosnia and Herzegovina, which was a safe and war-free territory. There is no other known footage or photo from her. The group of thousands she was with were all heading towards the municipality of Tuzla, where they would find long-term shelter and from where they would eventually emigrate to another country. There are many videos online, mainly on YouTube, about Srebrenica refugees arriving massively to Tuzla and the surrounding villages, such as Dubrave. By simply typing Dubrave 1995 on YouTube there are a couple examples. The thing is, there is no video proof of Selma arriving to Tuzla or its surroundings, but there are eyewitnesses, mainly one UN soldier that reached out to Selma's family explaining that he saw her at the Dubrave Airport UN base, still with the same clothes on. If we had video proof, it would even help more. What happened to Sergey Krevov? On the morning of election day in November 2016, a man was found dead, with his head bashed in, on the floor of the Russian consulate in NYC. Quickly, reporters noticed that the details of the case were not adding up. At first the man was considered an anonymous 63-year-old security guard, until he was identified as Sergey Krevov, who was actually 69 at the time of his death. Later, it was discovered that he was much more than a security guard, he was in fact the duty commander for the consulate. A duty commander's job is to make sure that no foreign intelligence agency is able to sabotage or infiltrate the Russian missions. They also handle encrypted communication. The initial report stated that his death was due to a fall from the roof of the consulate, as he was found outside the building with a head injury. But within a couple of hours, the consulate actually rectified this report. The man had actually been found on the floor of the security office, inside the building, with blunt force trauma to the head. Nevertheless, the consulate stated that they thought he died from a heart attack. After a reporter decided to visit Krevov's listed address in Manhattan, it turned out his address was actually a Smithsonian building, not an apartment building. Fast forward 3 months after the discovery of the body. After asking the medical examiner for more information, the medical examiner reported that they have not yet found a cause of death. In the meantime, the NYPD had already closed the case. Without explanation, or even a registered cause of death. The FBI is not involved with the investigation, by their own admittance, although this is up for debate as some sources state that the FBI is indeed involved. It is still unclear if they were, and to what extent. So, now we are faced with many unanswered questions. Who was really Sergey Krevov? Was he really in charge of handling encrypted and sensitive information for the Russian consulate? How did he die? Could it have been related to the information he was in charge of? We also need to consider the timing. It happened on the morning of election day. Could it have been related to politics? Why did the NYPD drop the case without even looking into the cause of death? Is it, once again, related to higher commands like the federal government or political parties? I know this is a BuzzFeed video, but the content is very high quality and it basically explains with more details everything I wrote in this post. I tried looking for more articles on Google but didn't find anything after typing only his name. At 3 a.m. on July 29, 2019, businessman Con Whitlock left his home in Melbourne and drove to unnamed corner, just a few minutes from the ski resort at Mount Buller. He has not been seen since. On July 28, 2019, Conrad Whitlock and his wife Mandy enjoyed their regular Sunday lunch in Melbourne, Australia. Con and Mandy ran a business together manufacturing bull bars. They were keen car racers, an activity which had replaced their 20-year pastime of heading to Mount Buller every weekend during snow season to ski. The two had recently bought a brand new race car. That evening, Khan told Mandy that the following morning, he might leave the house before she awoke. This wasn't in any way concerning to Mandy, she was used to him leaving early for work. Mandy was the bookkeeper for the couple's bull bar business. On Monday 29th of July she spent the day with an accountant, preparing for the end of the financial year. In the afternoon, she became concerned that Khan hadn't responded to any of her SMS messages all day. She called a medical center. Khan had suffered from persistent headaches for about 2 weeks and was due for imaging. The medical center hadn't seen him. Mandy next spoke to their business manager, who searched for the location of Khan's telephone using a locator app. The app showed that Khan's phone was close to Mount Buller. The police now became involved, and they found Khan's car parked at unnamed corner. He had left his phone, wallet, and jacket in the car, but was himself nowhere to be seen. Khan had driven the route many times, and should have known that he was very close to the ski resort. Using dashcam footage from passing cars, police were able to determine that Khan had arrived at unnamed corner around 6:30 a.m. Over the next 10 to 15 minutes, however, no cars equipped with dashcams passed unnamed corner. Following this window, the next available dashcam footage showed Khan's car empty. Near unnamed corner is a sheer drop. Police searched the area extensively, including a nearby river, but found no trace of Khan. There are a number of possible explanations for Khan's disappearance, but no conclusive evidence. Mandy herself believes that Khan's headaches had something to do with his disappearance. There was no indication that he might have taken his own life. As above, the two had very recently bought a new race car, and she didn't believe he had any enemies. The disappearance of Dulce Alvarez, 2019. Hey everyone, I wanted to write this case up because I've only seen one other post about it. Being that this is so recent, I think it's important to maintain a high level of attention on the case. This is my first time writing a post of this length, so please excuse and formatting issues. Dulce Maria Alvarez was born on April 25, 2014 to Noema Alvarez Perez in Bridgeton, New Jersey. Bridgeton is about an hour's drive from Philadelphia. The city suffered through some economic turmoil in the 1980s, but has since attracted a large and vibrant population of Mexican immigrants who have settled in the city and established families, of which Dulce is one of. Along with her mother, Dulce has a younger brother Manuel, 4. Dulce's mother was also pregnant at the time of her disappearance. While Dulce's father lived in Mexico, she did have an extended family of a grandmother and uncles and aunts who she was close to. Dulce's disappearance. On September 16, 2019, Noema took her 3 children to get ice cream from a local convenience store. After getting the treats, the family went to a nearby playground so that the younger 2 children could play while Noema helped her sister, Camilla, with her homework. The aunt and niece stayed in the car, which was parked about 30 yards away from the playground, to complete the homework, while Manuel and Dulce played. A short time later, Noema looked up from the work she was helping her niece and could no longer see either of her 2 children. She ran from the car to the playground, where she found Manuel in tears. He pointed to the area where Dulce was taken from, and Noema immediately called the police, saying, "We were here at the park and people said that probably somebody took her. They saw a black guy and they saw a Mexican man with 2 kids." An Amber Alert was issued based on a witness describing a single man that was seen leading Dulce into red van with tinted windows. The man was described as being light-skinned, possibly Hispanic, roughly 5 feet 6 inches tall with a thin build, no facial hair and facial acne. He was wearing orange sneakers, red pants and a black shirt. The witness is described as being in their tender years, so police are not fully confident in the description. About a month later, another individual came forward claiming that he was at the park when the kidnapping took place. He said he saw a suspicious man described as being Hispanic, about 5 feet 7 inches tall, with a slender build and about 30 to 35 years old. He wore a white t-shirt, blue jeans and a white baseball-style cap. However, no suspect has been identified and Dulce has not been found since her disappearance in September. Many people from the community have volunteered in the effort to find Dulce. They even had a virtual Zoom party on what would have been Dulce's 6th birthday to ensure that her memory isn't forgotten. Since the kidnapping. Obviously, Dulce's disappearance has been traumatic for her family. Noema says that her son, Manuel, who witnessed the kidnapping, has become very aggressive towards other children at school and has been having a lot of issues that never occurred before his sister went missing. Noema gave birth to her 3rd child, a daughter named Estrella, who has never had the chance to meet her older sister. Noema says that she dedicates all her time to raising Estrella as well as her other children. In a strange twist, several letters have turned up in Ohio and later in New Jersey that mention Dulce's disappearance. The family has no connection to Ohio and do not know why letters would be sent there regarding Dulce's disappearance. The letters were sent to various businesses and a library. They contain confusing and sometimes contradicting information. One letter stated simply, 76 truck stop dead end street entrance woods. Please look. The police searched the area, which is off of Route 80, and found nothing. A different letter sent to an ice cream shop, in the same Ohio town, mentioned Dulce by name but did not suggest that she could be found in Ohio as the other letter did. The exact text hasn't been released. Then, later, the spokesperson for the Alvarez family received a strange note in handwriting similar to the Ohio notes, that only listed a series of confusing and often illegible phrases, some of which were, Alaska, Mexico, border, 1776, Civil War, New England town, and Kids Homes Orphanage. Police do not know if these letters are from someone connected to Dulce's disappearance or are simply a cruel prank. Closing. This case has stuck with me for a few reasons. Personally, I teach in a community similar to Dulce's, so whenever I see her picture I am reminded of my students. More broadly, I also believe Dulce's disappearance has not received enough attention. I live in New Jersey and even here the case has almost been forgotten about. Obviously, the media has been dominated by the pandemic and police brutality protests, but I think there is more to it than that. Dulce's disappearance, the kidnapping of a young girl by a stranger, is the kind that the media usually loves to cover wall to wall, but I think that because she comes from a poor immigrant family, her disappearance isn't viewed as being equal to that as a white girl from the suburbs. Dulce's mom was 19 years old at the time of Dulce's disappearance, and I think this contributes too. That would mean she was about 14 when Dulce was born. I can't find any information on what the relationship between Dulce's mother and father was like, but regardless that is obviously a very young age to be having children. Due to this, I think people judge her mother as being irresponsible and are less inclined to care about her daughter's disappearance. Lastly, it seems as though some members of the community are apprehensive to work with police because of their immigration status. The Attorney General and Governor of New Jersey have both stated that anybody with information, regardless of immigration status, should come forward without fear of deportation or any consequences. The sources included below have more information, such as pictures of Dulce and sketches of the man described by witnesses. I know that this got a little long, but I think it's important to keep Dulce in our minds.